Thank you so much, everyone. We're here at the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting today. It's January 16th, and we're going to call this meeting to order. Thank you very much. I'd like to go into the adoption of the agenda, please. It's recommended that the agenda of the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting dated November 21st, do we mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
December.
okay. January 16th, right? All right, so let me try that again.
Sorry.
It is recommended that the agenda of the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting dated January 16th, 2025 be approved as circulated or amended. May I have a mover? Judy? Seconder? Sandra? Show of hands, please. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. And third agenda item, disclosure of pecuniary interests. Anyone? All right, seeing and hearing none, we move on. Approval of the minutes. The minutes of the Accessibility Advisory Committee, the recommendation is that the minutes of the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting dated November 21st, 2024 be approved as circulated. May I have a mover, please? Penny, seconder, Judy? All right, show of hands? All right, all passed. Thank you. Any deputations today? Seeing none, we will move on. Work group reports. I'm not sure that we have any today. I don't think our group has any updates. Judy? No, okay, pardon me?
They're all concluded from last year.
They're all concluded from last year anyway, so what am I doing? Okay, moving on. All right, so that's really a not applicable item for today. And then next, we're going to move on to other reports. The District Accessibility Advisory Committee update. The committee has not met since the last time our committee met, so there's no report for that. And unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? All right, we're moving along. Next, new business. We have 3 items on the new business. One is the 2025 work plan discussion. Second one is the AAC representation on Gravenhurst Trails Committee. And the third one is we'd like to see if we could talk about upcoming events related to accessibility in the local area. Okay. The work plan. So, Jonathan, do you want to lead us in that?
Sure.
And I would highly encourage all of us to participate in the discussion regarding what should be in the work plan. Remember, and Jonathan will say this many times, don't make it too big, but make it big enough that we know that we're doing something to support the community and accessibility needs. Thank you.
So the 2024 work plan was provided to everybody to stir some creative juices. Now, there already are some items on your work plan that were given to you by council based on the reports that was submitted to them in December. So those are automatically included on the work plan for 2025. Anything in addition to that is completely up to you guys. So with that, I did start drafting the 2025 work plan based on the council direction and what could be brought forward to this year, based on also on discussion that I had with Barbara earlier. So if you wouldn't mind putting that on the screen. Thank you, Bessie. So the first, of course, is the review of municipal policies and plans. So as directed by council, they've asked you to review the municipal policies and any plans regarding accessibility to ensure the information is up to date, but also for potential inclusion of the accessible features and supports that were noted within the accessible plaques and signage report. So Braille, QR codes, tactile mapping, that sort of thing. The next one would be, and I'd separated this out of it, was the update to the Gravenhurst multi-year accessibility plan. So the last plan from 2020 to 2025 is, of course, expiring. So we need to have that updated for the next 5 years. And basically what will be done is the the plan is reviewed, any information that needs to be updated will be updated, up to including any capital projects, focuses the committee would like to work on, accessible success stories you like from the last 5 years, and the like. So it'll be sent to council by the end of the year to approve for the next 5 years. Beyond that, kick it down to advocacy and education for accessible community. So advocacy education working group will continue on for next year with the added information pertaining to, or the goals, I should say, with respect to showcasing community members with accessibility needs in success stories shared to the public through social media, newsletters, that sort of thing. Basically, it's to showcase that we have great members within our community who have disabilities, who have done tremendous things. Helps with the advocacy piece for this particular item. But the work would require reviewing and, I guess, researching individuals within the area that have these amazing aspects. And we would, of course, liaise with the communications officer to figure out, I guess, a schedule or a plan for releasing this information. And following from that, of course, is from last year is the soliciting feedback for accessibility in the town. That's a continued aspect that we're looking for this year, which includes participation in the farmers market. As great as it was last year, we can continue that for this year as well. Of course, we will make sure that the prize wheel is purchased and available to us for this year. It's always in the back of my mind.
Sorry, Jonathan, what was done at the farmer's market last year?
So a handful of committee members, I believe once every couple of weeks, went to what we had at the farmers market, which was the Gravener's booth. Initially, it was set up as a stay in touch sort of roll-off by our communications officer to let the town or town residents and visitors know that we're here. If you have any questions, please ask us. And most of the questions that came to us, of course, were about Bay and Beyond's projects and that sort of thing. But we also had other staff members attending from other departments that provided context and information pertaining to certain projects if they were asked about it, so they can provide it on the spot. And including legislative services and by extension accessibility committee. So the advocacy and education working group members, Barbara, Karen, and Sandra, participated when they could to be able to.
And he was there too.
Oh, sorry, and Councillor Varney. Yes, sorry, I forgot about your attendance. They participated as well to provide feedback and information about accessibility and success stories.
So we tried to we tried to mirror what Bracebridge Accessibility Committee does to some degree, and we got a wheel and we got them to come to us while you're spinning the wheel and making all kinds of noise and stuff. And so no matter what they spun on the wheel, they would get a question from us, and no matter what our discussion was, they would get a reward, if you will, so a little chocolate or something like that. And so it was fun because sometimes it was the parents or the people by themselves that would gravitate towards us, but more than likely it was the kids that are like, "Ooh, what have you got over here? This looks interesting." So it was a nice way to have a discussion with folks that was not that was very relaxed. It was very relaxed, so it was good. Yeah.
And according to the upcoming communications updates that's on council or committee of the whole agenda for next week, the intent is to continue the Gravenhurst Farmers Market plan for next year, which is great for us because we can do more boots on the ground and to be able to speak to residents and visitors of the town. The final piece of this work plan, at least per your approval, is what we had on from last year in the continued review of the capital project plans. So the intent was to have a review of the Gull Lake Park play structure for last year, but there was a delay. So we'll be coming actually up for this year. So when we can expect when we will receive the designs for the place, it'll be coming to you guys for your feedback and comment. And we'll also ensure that one of the members of Infrastructure Services is here to be able to hear it and provide commentary as well.
So that's a great walkthrough. I'd like to see if the committee members have any comments, questions about specific aspects. Do you want us to go back to the top and we can kind of work our way down a wee bit? And remember, we all have a role to play in this as far as being on a work group to try to help support any of this work outside of this committee, and then bringing our findings to the committee for update, et cetera. So the review of municipal policies and plans, any comments or suggestions? Sandra?
I don't know if this is the time to bring it up or not, but I understand there's been funding given to the businesses to upgrade. Is that right, Penny? I understand that there's been some money set aside to give to businesses.
Were you referring to the CIP,
I
Community
guess-
Improvement Plan?
I guess so, but
You turned yourself off, sweetie.
I just wondered if that was the case, were they asked to make it more accessible with that funding?
To my knowledge, the Economic Development Department or division does provide all businesses within town information about the CIP and what they can do with the grants, whether they choose to go through that funding process and what they choose to utilize the funding for is completely up to the business. I know in the past, the committee has done outreach to those businesses and encouraging them to reach out to the town through RecDev and using those available funds for accessibility upgrades. And then I know there's only so much that you can do in terms of leading a horse to water. So it's, if we were thinking about maybe encouraging businesses again to tap into that, okay.
Only because 2025, everything was supposed to be totally accessible, and it isn't, obviously, nowhere. So I'm just wondering if we can just encourage them maybe again to do that. I don't know how you do that, but just an idea.
Okay, so through you, one of our problems is the BIA is now in redundancy. We're not sure if it's going to come back or not, so we now depend on the chamber to help us reach out to the businesses, at least on the main street and any other businesses. And most of the people who ask for support with this grant are businesses who want facelifts, awnings, a new roof or whatever, and they have to pay half the amount. And I think because everything is so expensive, I'm not sure how many grants have been asked for this year so far, but I mean, I think a lot of businesses are nervous about next year because if they have to pay half of the grant themselves, they might be holding back anyway. I mean, like the Arts at the Albion, we could never be accessible. It is a heritage building. We have stairs. There's no way there'll ever be a ramp put into our building. We don't have wheelchair accessible bathrooms. And that I don't think would ever get done either. So that's something that's never going to happen. And I think because a lot of the buildings are older, they're probably looking more, this is just my humble opinion, but I think they're looking more of ways to make their shops look more inviting to bring people in and not thinking about accessibility, unfortunately. That's just how I'm feeling about it, just because I've been on the main street in a business all the time we've been here, so, yeah, which is unfortunate.
Related to that discussion, I was wondering if, who's the person that oversees economic development and these grants, for example?
Amy Taylor, the manager.
It is Amy, okay. Perhaps we could have, she doesn't need to come, but perhaps she could give us a little paragraph or report or something, maybe that she's already done for council, about the grants and if any of them that were awarded were related to accessibility, something like that, just
Within a given time period?
whatever time period she feels is appropriate. Yeah, yeah, okay. So at least we'll get an idea of what is the grant, what the component is that's related to accessibility, and how many folks have actually asked for this type of grant. So getting back to your point about education and advocacy, that would allow us to at least understand it, so that when we are deciding how we're going to use that information, we've got something viable to use. That's a great idea.
Speaking
Kelly?
of the grant, Community Living was a recipient of the grant last year.
Ah, nice.
And it was more so our vision. We're still in the works of waiting for our project to be done, but it was more celebrating the work that the agency does, and we were doing window graphics on our building on the main street. So it goes along with success stories and education about accessibility and inclusivity. So there are other ways other than physically making a business accessible to spread that message as well. So,
Nice.
and we're very grateful. So.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. That's wonderful. Great. Okay. Anything else about page 1, or at least policies and plans?
So I'll flesh out the action items.
Can you turn your microphone on?
Oh.
Thanks.
So this was a rough draft. I just started throwing in some action items. Didn't finish it all, but as long as the goal is understood, the action items usually comes almost pretty obvious, especially when it comes to the review of the policies and plans. You guys will be reviewing those documents, whoever signs up for the working group, pulls together information pertaining to the updates, and then drafts will be coming to the committee for review and approval or endorsement, and then they'll be going to council for approval by the end of the year. And that's both for the policies and the multi-year plan. And of course, because it's a municipal document, I will of course be involved to be able to help with that working group and do the work. So,
Fantastic. What about the next one? You said we were going to update the Gravenhurst multi-year accessibility plan. So for the next 5 years, that's what we're trying to build. And obviously the town contributes to that plan substantially based on the work that they do to support accessibility. What do you see as truly our needs, our work? You said we're going to review it, so we'll look at what they're saying that they want to do in the next 5 years. There'll obviously be an opportunity for us to talk about what we'd like to do for the next 5 years. Yep. Okay, so that's a great opportunity for us to talk about what we would like to accomplish to help with accessibility for the next 5 years. So that's pretty cool. Anything else about this multi-year plan? Penny, I know you've seen the plan a few times coming through. Is there anything from a counselor's point of view that you'd like to encourage us to think about?
Through you, I'm just wondering, and I don't know if this is where this should be brought up, but some of the things we discussed last year with handrails, I'm not sure if I don't think we accomplished anything with that, which is really disconcerting because I think I did ask Andrew Stacy, infrastructure, about handrails at Gull Lake Park and the seating, and apparently that's not to do with the town because it's a Rotary project, that it's possibly in their lap, the handrails there, and then the handrails at the arena. I'm not sure if that's dead
So
in the
are you-
water or whether we're still working on that one.
So your thought is there anything that we've already asked for that hasn't
Yeah,
come to
exactly.
fruition that we can put in the plan?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
we certainly can. I think with anything that hasn't come about already, I think it's important for us to understand
Follow up,
why.
yes.
Yeah, and then decide if it's worthwhile for us to put it in the plan or not.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Okay. Anything else? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why. Thank you, Judy.
Going on Penny's thoughts,
Thank you.
I would like to see the committee being able to discuss projects from other groups before they're actually accepted,
Thank you.
because the Gull Lake, no handrails, means I'm not even gonna try to do it. And I've looked at the arena, and there is no way I could do that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel the same way. So if the committee is allowed to talk to the group before the project even starts, it would be helpful to a lot more people. The Rotary. There, yes, if we explained our point of view to them, maybe they could give a bit more than saying no.
I think that's a wonderful idea. The more we can educate, the more we can
Right.
get the message
Right.
out in different ways. So if we can provide an opportunity to do an educational event of some kind with Rotary to help them understand aspects of accessibility, so that when they're thinking about their projects, they've got multiple people at the table that are going, but what about accessibility? What are we
Right.
doing here, right? That's great. That's great. Thanks, Judy. Perfect. I think, and I don't know how to do it well, but I thought you were going to go a little bit more as well, talking about the town, how we'd like to talk to the town before they start a project. And I don't know how to do that without tormenting people, because I don't want to. But I think it's, again, we are here to help the town. This is our role as advisory, and so we do need to be involved in certain steps along the way. And I really don't feel it appropriate to bring a project to us after 29,000 steps have already been done and we can't do anything that we ask for. So, so something a little bit different than that would be great. And is that related to the last item on here, by the way? The capital project plans? So it's related to this. Could we add something in there in the action or the goal itself that talks about being proactive or something or other? I know you're typing, but I can't see it.
Oh, it's just the cloud. being a
Okay,
little-
there he goes. Okay.
Just a note in terms of like reaching out to community groups, like say, for example, Rotary. It's hard to say whether they have an obligation to send review plans to us for your review and approval when it comes to anything municipal. If we ever hand it and it's a play place or a public space, technically yes. So including that within this, it seems like it would be outside of our power. But that being said, whether there are future initiatives out there that of community groups that will be doing stuff like those tiered seating, like Gull Lake Park, hard to say.
Through you, This is where all of council should take responsibility, I feel, because these people come to council and tell us and ask us for money. And this is where I should take responsibility to say, have you thought about the fact accessibility is really important? Have you thought about, so I'm putting that on my list of responsibilities now because they did come and I could have asked them. And it's not something, you're not thinking about it during deputations and that type of thing. I'm not thinking about the accessibility committee, but I should be. So now that, Judy, you've said that, and I understand we can't ask for their plans, but we could ask verbally, have you thought of doing this because this is really important, blah, 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 blah. And I think all of council should be made aware of that's a question that we should all be asking when these people come and say that this is their plan. Like even like the next thing that's going to come in planning at the end of this month is this new building down at the south end, down at the bay. Accessibility. That should be part of.
Building code, that they have to match certain standards of the
Yeah.
built environment, so they're obligated.
They're
to-
obligated.
Yeah.
But they don't always follow through, Jonathan.
Okay, so let's backtrack on that a little bit. How about we think about if there's a process that accessibility is part of the process, if you will. So it's, I'm just throwing something out there. Typically, there's a checklist of all the 29 million things you need to do to put a building together, to put Gull Lake Park changed, to put a play station together, or play park, sorry. So should there not be a checkbox that says accessibility committee has been discussed with accessibility committee? Right, right. Right. And so, I hate to say it, but they should come here and just talk to us about what is it that they're planning on doing before they actually cut the ground. What are they planning on doing? What are the accessibility aspects of it that they're able to accomplish? What are they not able to accomplish and why? And then that would help when it comes to council, because you would say, have you talked to the accessibility? Yes, we did, and we got some great feedback and recommendations from them, and this is what we were able to accomplish. So that way, from my perhaps naive perspective, as a person walking around this town, I don't always know what's town's supposed to do and what private person's supposed to do, but at least that would give us more opportunity for more things to be accessible because we're putting it on the radar and we're asking those questions. And then it actually gives the town more ability to look positively at any project because you can see that it's come here or somehow been addressing accessibility. So, Judy.
One thing about the Gull Lake, the Rotary project, it is in a town park. So who is responsible if someone gets hurt? So that is a safety question. Who is gonna be responsible? I know usually when I fall, like I did in November, it was my fault. I knew that, but I was in a town building and it had all the safety requirements and I still fell. So, but it is that with those big boulders to sit on, if someone fell into a boulder and really got hurt, who is responsible? But would a rail help break that fall?
It's a good point.
So there's a lot of issues that people have to start thinking about. So, and it might not even be someone with issues. If someone had a broken leg or sprained ankle, whatever, but thought they could go down easily. I mean, anything can affect someone.
Right. That's a very good point. So we won't talk about who's liable, because that's not our purview.
No,
But we
no,
will talk about how
but-
accessibility helps decrease
yes.
accidents, more than
Right,
likely,
right.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Is trying to look at a bigger picture of everyone.
Right. Kelly, going to put you on the spot a little bit. Does your group talk a little bit about accessibility in that vein and how it not only helps the person who needs help, but it helps the other people that might be walking down the stairs and need a railing and stuff like that? Thank you.
Absolutely. Our staff are all trained to do environmental scans when you're supporting someone to ensure that you're always looking out, kind of seeing things ahead of time, and trying to best support that person to be successful in any situation. Whether it be going to the Gull Lake Farm or Gull Lake Park and supporting someone down the steps to get safely to their seat, or at the arena, going up to the steps without the railing. But it doesn't always prevent all injuries, but we are always looking out, and then we do bring it back and try to make positive suggestions, why I'm here today, and why we're happy to have a voice at this committee, so,
Perfect.
yeah.
Thank you. All right. Well, shall we move on?
So would you guys be open to?
Do you have your,
So you guys happy with the number of items you have on the work plan? And are you okay to endorse it for committee or for council's approval next month?
I think we might have skipped, because I asked us to skip to the bottom. So can we actually stay on the bottom for a second? Because right now the goal still says capital projects for public play spaces. But I think we want, it's basically capital projects related to under our purview, right? So go ahead.
So are we moving the stipulation that we reach out to the community groups?
No. No. So right now it says capital project plans. It doesn't say town capital project plans. So is it okay the way it is now? It would cover community groups?
By noting capital, it would be, connotation would be that'd be the town. We could always say capital and external.
There you go. That'd be perfect. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. And I think if we go back up, we might have missed talking about another section. There. Because we haven't talked about this one yet, right? Okay. So, is there you want to walk us through this, Jonathan?
We already did.
We already did this one?
Did you guys have any feedback about it, I guess?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you did, right. Feedback. All right, feedback on this one, you guys. Sorry, I should actually look at you when I ask for
It's
feedback.
okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Kat.
Was just going to say that I think this section will have a large impact on the external community plan. So the more we educate, the more success stories, the more we showcase that Gravenhurst is very accessibly friendly. I think the more people will be thinking of that when different groups do have other projects coming up. So I think this is very exciting and very important, so.
Great, perfect. Yes, Penny.
Through you, so this is my question. Is this something that one of us should go to some of the groups, like to Rotary or to the Lions Club or to Probus, and explain what we're trying to do and give examples of things that, like the railings, that we could, I mean, can we do that and say, you know, we're wondering if, because, I'm going to use Rotary as the example.
Okay,
Someone go and ask if they can speak at one of their luncheons, because that's when you go and speak to them, and ask about railings at Gull Lake Park and explain why we're asking about it, and the accessibility is not there for people? And would they consider putting more money into that project for railings? Is this something that we should be thinking about, going to these community committees, organizations?
I see this particular item more focused on advocacy and education. That is education, it is advocacy. I just, I don't like going into a group with a negative thing, like, hey, you don't think it's negative? Because they built it without railing.
I think it's positive, because then you are allowing more people to come.
Okay.
I don't see it as a negative. I think it is something that, just think of what more you could do if you had railings, and the number of more people you would get here. Because, as Judy says, she doesn't even come. She doesn't even bother coming.
Right.
But I'm not going to use, I mean, if I did it, I would not use the negatives. I would be
Yeah.
trying to think of all the positives that I could say. But anyway, this is just a question
No.
that, I mean, I think, I don't believe, other than the town council, I don't think a lot of people even know there's an accessibility committee in this town. I really don't.
Agreed.
And I think that, other than even just going and speaking to some of these groups and explaining that what we do and what we're trying to do, and for example, we love the Gull Lake Park and the seating, but, you know, something that we would love even more is if you put in railings, like something in a positive way, but explain to them, because I don't think that even entered their minds. Yeah.
Jonathan?
Just a note, the tiered seating did come to this group for review, to like review the designs of it. And I think the intention is that while there is no railings going up and down the tiered seating, there is accommodation for those who be able to actually go down to the bottom or the water level via accessible devices to view or go on the steps, but also go at the very top where the benches are. So while there is no direct abilities or direct accommodations down the steps, there are attenuated alternatives for those with devices or accessible needs.
And through you, I do agree with that, but I still, people who even can walk properly without any help do trip. You know, they bifocals. I wear bifocals, and sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, you know, where am I, type of thing. So I don't think it's just for people who have accessibility needs. I think this is a safety.
Yeah, even children, you're
Yeah.
telling your kids to hold onto the railing as a means to get them to slow down and pay attention. Sorry, through the agency, I've spoken as part of a group to Rotaries and other community partners, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity if we could, not only to talk about areas that can be improved, but to build awareness about this committee and just part of our plan to educate, because not everyone learns the same way. So someone might read a newspaper or see a social media campaign, but others really hear from heartfelt stories. So going in with some successes and then slip in those little areas of improvement would be beneficial.
Excellent. I think you guys are both on target with advocacy and education, for sure. And I love the way you talked about it. I see a sort of somewhat standard presentation, if you will, that allows for adding something that customizes it to the group that you're talking with. So, yeah, I think that would be great. That would be great. Okay. All right. So, what do you guys think? Looks good. So it would be, so our next meeting, well, first of all, council has to approve it. And then our next meeting in February, on February the 20th, we would be able to start it because council would have approved it by then. And I believe, Jonathan, you said we would have to, we would be creating work groups at that point. So each one of us would be asked to be part of a work group to help with certain aspects of that. And the work group is, work is done after after hours, so to speak, so not in our meeting, but we do use the meeting again, as I said earlier, to bring the information back here, both for updates and consultation with the group. Okay? All right, we good?
I just need an approval or endorsement.
Okay, a mover, you mean?
Move a second for endorsement to council, yep.
Okay, so based on what we have created today, could I have a mover for supporting that, this work plan? Thank you, Penny, and a seconder? Thank you, Sandra. And show of hands for all in favor. All right, motion carries. Thank you. Now, we ready to move on to the next item, Jonathan? We're good? So the next item under new business is AAC representation on Gravenhurst Trails Committee. So for representation from the committee on the Trails Committee, just wanted to clarify, are affiliates allowed to be our representation on the committee, or does it have, no? So sorry, Kelly. Sorry, bless you. All right, so we need a representative from this committee to sit on the Gravenhurst Trails Committee. That was the email that we had earlier that I forwarded to the committee talking about their request. I know that they haven't started yet. They're just starting up, right?
They did have their first meeting.
Did they? Okay, all right. And, go ahead.
Through you, Jonathan, there's only 3 meetings a year for the trails, is that correct? Just so you know.
So they are, per the terms of reference, meet 3 times a year. However, they can do ad hoc meetings in case they need to meet sooner than within that year timeframe, yep.
When did they meet?
I think it was November? I want to say November.
Okay, great.
I can double check the date if you're looking for it.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
November 14th.
All right. And
Got it
so,
anyways.
based on their work, they are asking for people to help with actually going on trails, walking on trails. I believe they said in there they were willing, if you didn't have proper boots or whatnot, that they were willing to pay for a pair of those. I think I saw that, right?
For for the members that are sitting on the committee,
Yeah,
yes. I can't recall if that extends to the representatives from the committee.
So we wouldn't be a member?
No, you would technically be an affiliate to be able to participate and provide feedback.
Well, then maybe we don't have to walk a trail.
I can confirm with Director Andrew Stacy about the reimbursement of boots, because technically you guys are volunteers. I don't know if the boot reimbursement would be applicable to you guys, because I know under the terms of reference for the Trails Committee, it is for their members. Whether it extends to affiliates, I would have to investigate.
Okay, so when the agenda item says representation on the committee, it's not really a representation on the committee. It's like you would be an affiliate on the committee.
Well, when you representation, you are representing the AAC, the Accessibility Advisory Committee, on that.
Okay.
So you are the affiliates on that committee representing the AAC.
But affiliates can't be affiliates on the committee.
I know.
Just checking. All right. Okay, so this is what we have. I now ask for people to put their names forward to be an affiliate. So who would like to put their name forward to be an affiliate on the Gravenhurst Trails Committee on behalf of AAC?
I don't believe I can because there's a counselor already on.
Oh,
I don't believe, through you, sorry, I don't believe I can because there's already a counselor on that committee.
okay. What about you, Judy? Do you want to give it a try?
Through you, I don't think I would be able to do much of anything because I have problems walking on inside. So if they ask for me to go anywhere near a trail, I would be useless.
Okay.
Well, almost useless. So feedback I could probably do by looking at pictures and that, but I wouldn't be able to do a lot.
I don't know if the requirements would be to you walking on the trails. Your participation, I believe, would be limited to actually coming to the committee meetings 3 times a year or the ad hoc meetings to provide your feedback based on the information given to the committee. So if we're worried about you guys needing to be boots on the ground on the trails, I don't think that's expected. That being said, if you probably would be invited to go on the trails, and I guess it'd be up to you guys, or the representative, whether you'd want to walk into or on the trail. But that'd be completely your call, whoever the representative would be.
This is something I could try to do if no one else steps up.
Does
Okay.
anybody else want to step up?
It's not necessarily written in stone, so if anything comes up where you're unable to actually participate, we could always reconsider and find another individual who'd be able to participate.
Okay,
So it could be a trial run if you like.
okay.
Okay.
So I'll try.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. All right, do we need a motion for that? Are we good? Yeah, okay. So I'd like to have a mover for Judy being the AAC representative on the Gravenhurst Trails Committee, serving as an affiliate. Thank you, Penny. Thank you. Seconder? Okay, thank you, Sandra. And show of hands for all in favor? Great.
Sorry, I was just thinking, I don't know if there was an opportunity where a representative was needed to go. Could affiliates step in to walk the trails, but Judy give feedback on the committee?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
The offer's out there if. Yes,
Being like a proxy, sort of.
yeah. Or,
To be honest, I don't. Again, the
If she just happens to be there when they're walking the committee,
or you could tell me the trails that need to be walked. I could walk them before, give you feedback.
We could go walk
Yeah,
Kelly, and then
exactly.
we'll call Judy and tell her, we'll have coffee with Judy and tell her.
But the offer's there if
yeah.
there is support needed.
There's no rules within the subcommittee policy that stipulates that you can't do this. So in lieu of the fact there is no stipulation or provision for it. So yeah, there's no rules that you can't. It means you basically could, but we would just have to let the Trails Committee know
Yep.
that there will be a swap in, quote unquote, for providing feedback to the accessibility rep.
That sounds good. Unless Kelly or someone's not available, would it be possible to have my husband help me? He's getting very useful. So,
So your question is, can you have somebody else there to help
Yes,
you? Should you
because
wish to walk the trail? right?
I hold on to an arm or two.
Of course, of course.
So,
Yeah, and I would say, again, we're all about accessibility.
Right.
You bring what you need for you to be able to be there, to be a full participant in the activity. Absolutely.
sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, and if that means her arm or your husband's arm, that's fine.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right. So, that carried. The third new business is amend standing, the third one is, what did we call it? Did we call the third one? Future events? Yeah, I forget what we called it. For future events in local area, yeah. Okay, so we would like to have Kelly talk to us about a couple of upcoming future events, and I'd like to recommend that this be a standing item on our agendas going forward, so that if anybody has any events that they'd like to talk about, they may do so.
Great, thank you. So I'll have more information to come and some flyers to come, but on March 6th, Community Living is partnering with the Trillium Lakeland District School Board, and we're promoting inclusive employment. We're trying to recruit new employers and build awareness around hiring someone with a disability. We're going to talk, we all have a panel of speakers, including teachers, job coaches, employers, and people that we support who are working competitively out in the community, to share their successes and to educate potential new employers on how we can offer help to make to help the person be successful in their role. And so I think that will be a great event. It's absolutely open to anyone.
Okay, and where is it?
It's at the Trillium Lakeland School Board office in Bracebridge on Pine Street. And it's March 6th, and the time is to be determined at this point.
Okay,
And then we are also partnering with Adaptive Sports. We're trying to bring adaptive sports to Muskoka as a whole. There's very little adaptive sports in Muskoka, and very little recreational sports that are fully accessible other than Special Olympics that are geared. So we have an event on April 5th to bring awareness. We have Rachel Holman and the Canadian Canadian Adaptive Sports curling coach, or the Paralympic curling coach, coming as well. And we will be showcasing, adaptive sports, and Paralympic curling is our first sport that we're focusing on. And it's yet to be determined if it's the Gravenhurst Curling Club or the Bracebridge Curling Club at this point where the event will be held, but the intent is to bring awareness to all of Muskoka and to bring adaptive sports to all of Muskoka in all different types of sports as well. So it's our first event, but it's a new partnership, but I think it'll be another really exciting event. So I thought that this committee might want to join or help spread the word as well. So
absolutely.
we're not sure yet if it'll be Gravenhurst or Bracebridge curling clubs.
And it's too early to say what time it'll be on April 5th?
Not 100% sure
Okay,
yet either,
all right.
so.
Great, thank you so much. Any questions about those events? Penny?
Thank you. Through you, will this go into our report that comes to council, these items?
I'd like it to.
I hope it will, so that it
In the
shows, yeah, in the minutes? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
in the
thank you.
minutes, yep.
Thank you.
If we have flyers with all the details, is that better to be sending with the minutes to go up to council, or is it better to have it just as noted in the minutes? Noted in the minutes, okay.
I plan on attending more council meetings, so if you do have flyers you want me to distribute or have available nonchalantly, I'd be happy to do that. Okay, yeah, okay. All right, great. Oh, those are excellent events. Are there any other events from any other members that you know of coming up? Okay, no. All right. Well, I think our next, there's two more items. One is any correspondence, Jonathan? Hearing none. We are ready to adjourn. We don't need a motion for that, do we?
We do.
Oh, we do. Okay. All right. I need a motion for adjournment, please. Judy, seconder, Penny. All in favor?